Hey, what's up, Vox and Hops heads? I'm Matt, the vocalist of Cryptopsy, and you're listening to my podcast, Vox and Hops, brought to you by Sound Talent Media, where I sit down with fellow metal musicians to talk about their lives, music, and craft beer. I hope you guys have had a great week. It has been an intense week, but we have made it to the end of the week, people. It is Friday. We did it. We finally got there, and oh boy, is this weekend going to be well enjoyed. I have an excellent episode for you today. On today's episode, I'm with Hurd and Daniel Vieira of Hinayana. They just dropped a monster of an EP last week via Napalm Records called Death of the Cosmic. If you have not checked this out, you absolutely should. This is a great, great EP. I'm always sad when it's over. It runs for 24 minutes. I could have gone for another 25 minutes easily. I love Hinayana. I love what they're doing. It's a great EP, and I suggest you check it out. So here it is. This is Vox and Hops episode number 178.
I warn you, what you are about to hear is very disturbing indeed.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Today, I'm with Hurd and Daniel Vieira of Hinayana. I am super stoked to be with you guys. First time meeting you guys. First time actually digging into your music when I got the message request to do this interview, and I like it. So let's just touch on how are you guys doing. I know you guys are getting ready for this release coming out on August 28th via Napalm Records. How are you? How are you coping with everything that's going on in this crazy fucking world we live in?
Yeah, so I mean, we're doing good, man. We're doing good. We're trying to stay positive, and we got a lot of work to do. And there's a lot of stuff to do just for this release alone. You know, a lot of behind the scenes stuff. And we're also just trying to keep busy, you know, working on new stuff and writing stuff. And, you know, I don't know what you've got going on, but
I've been trying to remain positive about the whole situation. I'm doing pretty good. I work delivery, so
we actually both.
Yeah, we both work delivery.
We're both essential workers, you know, yeah. So we got our hands full with that. And
we still practice, yeah. You know, 1 to 2 times every week. So we've been trying to keep the chops up and
keep the rust off.
Yeah, it's always something to look forward to, like with practicing.
Yeah,
sucks that there's no shows to play, but I'm sure they'll be coming back, and
we'll see
when
it happens.
Yeah.
You guys
we're lucky that we still get to practice each week, though. So
yeah,
you guys are very, very lucky to be able to practice and still do that. That's something that sadly Cryptopsy hasn't gotten around to doing, is getting together in a room and actually playing together. We've gotten together to write some new material, but very lucky. I'm jealous.
Oh man, yeah, I think we are lucky, honestly. Yeah, and you know, it's kind of crazy. Like one of the practice spaces here in Austin we just learned is going to be shutting down. I won't say who, but it's just crazy. It's like, wow, you know, so we might have to figure out some things ourselves, you know. Fortunately it wasn't ours, but it could happen. You never know. A lot of small businesses are going under, you know.
Vox and Hops is all about hanging out with my metal friends, my new metal friends now. To lives, music, and craft beer. What beers do you guys have on your side there, Casey and Daniel?
Well, I've got a Voodoo Ranger Imperial IPA.
Nice. Yes, I've had a few of those in my time out on the road.
And I'm keeping it simple in Texas. I got freaking Lone Star.
It's not the worst big beer.
For a while, it was all we were drinking at practices. It was like. It was like that was the band go-to, you know.
and then Michael, our keyboardist, has an obsession with White Claw, so
yeah.
He'll always bring way too much for himself. So we're like, dude, what are you doing? And then we all end up starting to drink it.
It happens. I prefer this though. I prefer this much more.
It's good for the waistline, a White Claw, but not good for my palate. On my side.
One day he'll have long hair and he'll stop drinking it.
What are you drinking?
On my side, I am drinking Dunder. This is by Trailway Brewing Company. It is a pale ale that has been hopped with Australian hops. Trailway Brewing Company is actually from Fredericton, New Brunswick. It has just been brought into the Quebec beer market via a schlag and Trans Brew, and I'm all about Trailway, and I just can't drink enough of these. So this is my first time having this, so I'm going to crack it. I'm going to pour it out, and you guys are going to tell me about if you guys are craft beer enthusiasts, and if you are, how that all started.
Yeah, so I'll let you take. You probably know more about mine.
Oh, man. Well, let me tell you. No, if it tastes good, I drink it. I'm not too picky when it comes to alcohol. Although, well, there's a couple liquors I'll stay away from because of some old bad, crazy nights, of course. But yeah, I guess for the most part, I'll try to stick to ambers, or like I do enjoy some IPAs from time to time, but for the most part, I'm just like, just a regular. I don't even know what you'd call this.
Basic bitch.
Basic bitch. Basic, yeah.
No, I'm unsophisticated.
I don't like, if somebody's like, hey, try this new fancy beer. I'm like, hey, cool, man. I'll try it, and if it's good, then great. But half of them I don't even know what they're called. But hey, it's good. I'll drink it. So
I'm a fan of IPAs. I really like IPAs. Any new ones are just fun for me. Like, all that stuff is good. I haven't had one I didn't like yet.
That's very good. And you guys do live in a absolutely amazing craft beer city. Having toured through Austin before, you guys have a bunch of really, really good craft beer bars, which I don't remember the name of right now, but I know that there's a blossoming scene in Austin.
Yeah, we even played behind me somewhere up there. You can't see it, but behind me there's a poster from when we played over at what is it?
Independent.
Yeah, Independence Brewing. Independence Brewing Company, which is a great brewery here in Austin. They make some fucking killer beer.
Sick. This beer is nice and smooth, slightly hazed, lightly.
It looks good.
Lightly juicy. It's a 5.6%, 4.8 smooth pale ale. Australian pale ale. I love it. Trailway Brewing does no wrong. Cheers, boys. Thank you for coming and sharing a brew with me and having a chat.
Thanks for having us on, man. Seriously.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's move into your life now. Let's talk about the soundtrack of your youth. When you were growing up in your parents' or guardians' house, what music was playing when you guys were not in control of the music?
I'll start with that. That was, my father was, he was like, I guess, he's been playing live music for 50 years now. He's got his own country western swing group here in Austin called the Cornell Hurd Band. And I grew up listening to like no aggressive music or anything like that at all. And so I didn't even know that kind of stuff existed until later in my growing up. So first of all, I mean, he was playing, I guess, the thing that I guess I could say I liked the most listening to, that he would play was stuff like, Hank Williams and stuff like the Johnny Cash, things like that. But there was a lot of stuff that he played that I just didn't really attach to until he started taking us to the record store and we started picking out some CDs, and some of that stuff was a little bit heavier, and compared to that, I got started like on Aerosmith and AC/DC, and it kind of went from there, but I remember Angus Young was my idol at one point. I thought that was cool as hell.
He's a damn cool dude.
It moved on to like, obviously getting into metal, like Metallica. I think Enter Sandman was the first metal song I listened to, and as you can imagine, just kind of went from there.
Awesome, but it is interesting that you're more drawn to the dark and gritty side of country through the Hank Williams and the Johnny Cash.
Oh, definitely, absolutely.
It's the good stuff.
Yeah, to me at least.
I like a lot of Texas country myself, so
it's more of a country fan.
Yeah. What about you there, Daniel?
Not too big on the pop country there, or whatever they call today country. Sadly, I enjoy that. Yeah, that gritty old Texas stuff. No, I actually in the late 80s, I think it was around 4 or 5. My older brother was a big Metallica fan, and I think I was around the age of 5, and I was listening to Vanilla Ice and MC Hammer, and my brother was like, "What are you doing?" So he got the Black Album, and then he also had Ride the Lightning and Master of Puppets. And really quick, I gravitated to Metallica. Metallica was the first band, and Metallica, Pantera, and Megadeth were the first 3 bands. And yeah, I was like 4 and 5. And from there, I just thank God for my older brother, because I never looked back after that. It was just metal, since that, I'm 35 now. So I'm getting up there, but I'm still love metal. So I think yeah, it's all thanks to my older brother.
There's no expiry date on being a metalhead.
Yeah, thank God. Well, I wouldn't, my brother, he's just not big on metal anymore. I'm like, well, I'm glad you got me into it, because, but yeah.
I don't know if I've told the story on the podcast yet. One of the first performances I ever did was actually like a choreographed dance.
Oh.
And it was actually to, I think it was Can't Touch This by MC Hammer. And as you said that, I had this flashback. And the thing is that we only choreographed, it was like some older sister of a friend of mine that choreographed this thing for us. We were young. I was under 6. So I was very young. But we only choreographed like the first minute and a half of the song, and nobody told the people that they were supposed to stop it. And I remember just standing there and being just so devastated.
Oh man.
Oh no.
And I cried. I definitely cried.
Those moments. Screw those moments.
Oh man. Jeez.
Take me to your first times on stage. Do you remember your first shows?
You start with
Oh man. Oh man. So I don't know if you're familiar with a band called The Sword.
Yes, of course.
So I don't know. Some people know. I've known the bass player Brian Ritchie since middle school. We actually grew up in Round Rock, and I used to see his band play all the time. He used to be in a ska band called Skate or Die. He was in a number of bands, but then before The Sword, he was actually in a band called Pirates of Darkwater. And I think one of our first shows, I actually was in a punk rock band and an emo band. And this was my 9th grade year. So this was like early 2000s. It was at the duck pond. Yeah, it was at like this park. We used to have these free shows out in the park, and all the high schoolers would get together. So the first show I ever played, like, God, I was nervous too. Like, oh man, but it was great, because we used to go to these, park shows, like I would go there since like 6th grade, and I think my first show, it was around like my 9th grade year. So it was a lot of fun for that age. And then eventually I started moving up to like bars and venues and whatnot.
Yeah, and my first
Yeah, when was your first show?
Like, yeah. So this is crazy, but like, I guess if you want to count real shows, like other than jamming with my dad's band and stuff, and playing crap for I don't know, local stuff that like just jamming with people and stuff like that, doing recording sessions, all that stuff kind of happened before I played a real show. My first real show was actually with this band, and it was just an after party for at the Sidewinder.
Oh, the Avatar.
Yeah, the Avatar thing. Yeah, okay. That was, other than that, yeah.
that was your very first show you ever
real
played.
show, yeah.
Oh my gosh, dude, that was
nuts.
A fun show too.
That was very fun. That was really fun.
That was the show. I think,
because think about it. I grew up out in the country, right? I know you did too, but kind of, right? Yeah. But
that was when Round Rock only, it was.
I grew up out in Dripping Springs, and that's west of Texas, and there's, nobody cares about the kind of music that we play out there, man. That's just country music and God knows what, and they're more interested in that than metal out there. There were a few people, but no one who had any drive to play shows, and play live music like I did, Not at least that I knew.
As I prepped for this, Hinayana was your baby, your personal project.
Yes.
So take me to that. Did you ever think, was there an aspiration to build this into a full-blown band, or was it just this personal thing that you were doing?
Yeah. So it's weird. Like, it's kind of funny in the very beginning. Like, I made a demo, right? I put together these songs, and I started writing them like back in 2013, and then I actually released and recorded the demo in 2014. And man, I just kind of released it just to release it. I was inspired by people like Tuomas of Wolfheart and Black Sun Eon. He's a fucking amazing musician, amazing guy too. He's really, really great, good person too. Yeah. but I was inspired by the multi-instrumentalism that was going on there. And like the fact that some of these albums, you know, largely it was him playing all the instruments and doing all this stuff. And I didn't have any, like I said, I was out in the country, you know, and I had lived out there for a while, you know, this is before I lived in Austin. And so I just was like, you know, I just want to release, I want to make something, you know? So yeah, it was kind of a personal project for me. I actually didn't even think anyone would like it or even appreciate it at first. I was kind of just like, wasn't really confident, you know, because I didn't have like all those peers and people, you know, to bounce this off of. And so it was kind of like, well, just take a risk, put it up. I guess we'll just release it, you know, and I'll do my best. And then it was only kind of after, like, you know, some of the reviews and some of the people were like, oh, this is really cool. And I got like, you know, people wanting the physical copies and, you know, stuff like that, that I was like, okay, well, I probably need to turn this into a full band, you know, if people enjoy this at all, you know, I would like to play these songs live, you know. So it was kind of a little bit after that I decided, yeah. And there were moments where I was like, man, you know, I'm not going to find anybody, you know, but it's really funny how things happen. Just it totally became something.
Was there ever a moment that you worried that you wouldn't be able to represent what was happening on the album or on that EP on a stage, especially since the first show you ever played was with this band?
Yeah, there were definitely concerns. You know, I didn't, you know, it was even just a challenge to try to practice doing vocals and guitar at the same time. You know, it's something I didn't have experience with at first. And so it took a lot of hours just sitting. I had a shed out there that I had all my, you know, big amps and stuff. And yes, right, I know, it's like the metal shed, right? And I would just sit out there for hours and just with the microphone, the amp, just like, you know, just doing the vocals and, you know, all that stuff. And yeah, it just took a lot of practice, but that was one concern. And also it was just really tough finding musicians, you know, because I didn't know a lot of people in Austin, and that's where all the musicians who played metal were. And so, believe it or not, like, you know, I met him through Craigslist.
No way.
Yeah, like Craigslist, and then my guitarist, I met him through Craigslist too. Half the band is through Craigslist. You know, it's kind of nuts. You know, and like, yeah, it was really weird for a time period. Like, you know, I remember like making those Craigslist ads. There were so many people I jammed with that it was just like it was tough finding the right people for this project. I didn't have a whole lot of friends on Facebook or anything like that. I was just going out there doing the nitty gritty. But I think that I found the right people.
Plus, one of the hardest things is the chemistry. It's always the hardest thing to find.
Yep.
And it's like if you don't have that, it's I don't know. This might sound harsh. I saw it was Rob Zombie had talked about this in an interview. It's the importance of finding somebody to find that chemistry, as you know, because everybody in this band works extremely hard. There's really no slackers in our band. That's what's so great about it. And we're so passionate about the music we play, and we want it to be heard so bad. Yeah. This is like our lives. This is everything to each of us. And that's what's great, because there's a lot of bands that aren't as fortunate as that, you know, to have that chemistry and that camaraderie as musicians.
I feel lucky.
Well, cheers to Craigslist for
Oh, hot damn.
And it is true that it's extremely important. It's like, not only can you play the songs, not only can I stand you during a band practice, but there's that longevity. The we're gonna live together in a van for 3 to 6 weeks at a time, 4 to 5 times a year. The chemistry has to be there.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Dude, like, I love being around these guys.
I know. Band practices are like fucking hilarious.
It's always so fun though. Like, even the times, I think the biggest arguments we've ever had. So Casey and I are like really big perfectionists, but we're like two different types of perfectionists. So in the studio, it's either one or the other, both good ideas, but we always find common ground.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. We both, yeah, but we work well together. Nobody gets butthurt. Yeah. So it's okay. It's like that's kind of you got to have thick skin if you're gonna be a musician. You got to be able to take criticism. You know, if I fuck up or playing something wrong or doing something like shit, I want to be told that. You know, I don't think that it should be hidden. You know, just for the sake of my feelings. You know. Like, tell me, did I miss that note, or did I, you know what I'm saying? Like it's all about creating something that's, you know, but we're both kind of like that, you know? So like you said, like in the studio, it's kind of like, you know, we get in arguments about stuff, but it's all just because we have a vision where we're passionate, you know, that's it.
So Daniel finally made it. and played that Park show that he was, it was 3 years that he was watching these gigs happening, and he got onto that stage and he made it. Your first gig, were you nervous, Casey?
Oh, my first gig?
Yeah.
No, Casey, were you nervous
My first
when
gig?
you
Yeah.
finally got the band up and running, and now here it is, you're presenting it to the world, and it was an after party for an Avatar show. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
It's pretty big.
Yeah, I was very nervous. Yeah, because this is like, my passion and everything that I was just very nervous. I was like, are people going to even give a shit? And yeah, fortunately, people like actually liked it on the way out there. They thought it was cool. There were several people who stuck around and were into it. I didn't think that was going to be the case. Watching those guys in Avatar perform, just right before that, it was like, wow, okay, all right. Well, this will just be a test run, right? This will be fun. But even then, it was just like I was like,
Yeah. That was my first show in about 7 or 8 years. That was my first show. So I was, even though we had plenty of practice, I was a little tense. I was a little nervous. But I remember thinking with that show, after that show, wow, we have a long way to go.
Yeah.
And I'm excited because it's always, it's going to sound cheesy, but it's always the journey is the most exciting part.
Yeah, that was something.
That's one thing I've learned in my life. It's always the journey. Every opportunity you make, it's a great feeling, but you realize it's always the journey and working your ass off to get there. It's just the greatest feeling. So It always makes you want to do it over and over again. Like,
Yeah, I remember thinking after that show, just during the show, it was like, oh my God, I have so much to learn about this. But I'd like to think that we came a long way from that. I think we have come a long way.
We learned, we had to sort of not just be musicians. We had to learn a lot of business. We had to learn a lot of marketing. We had to, I do cinematography. So cool. Really all our skills, we really just had to throw it all in the bucket and hope for the best,
But yeah, I was nervous.
I was very nervous. Yeah, we were all nervous.
I have enough anxiety as it is. That just like made it go to 10.
How has the band evolved from your pet project being by yourself to now this new EP, Death of Cosmic, which is coming out via Napalm Records, which is a huge record label? So how has that evolved? Is it still your baby that you compose most of it, or has it now become a group effort?
Yeah, so I mean, on the EP, for instance, those are all songs that I composed. But for instance, we're getting everybody more involved, and the goal is to have it be more of a group effort. I've got a very clear vision. I've always had it from the very beginning. But I want to get everybody involved, and I want to get everybody, basically, I think everyone's pulling their weight now. And for instance, like we've had, our guitarist Eric. He's an amazing guitarist, better guitarist than myself. We were able to have him play some solos on this EP that were fantastic. He wrote and recorded those. Those are the best solos on any of the stuff that we've had. Daniel's drums, like I just like let him rip, just let him go, on this EP, and it was like, man, he wrote some.
Does this sound good, Casey? Does this sound good? Look at this crap I'm about to do.
Oh no, dude, no.
The studio is always a blast because half the drum writing comes out in the studio, just sort of improvising.
Well, but yeah, like for instance, I'll take like songs that like they feel like they're kind of my little project or whatever, my little thing that I've got going on, and then I'll first start with the drums, and like, man, even just giving that stuff to him, and he'll kind of tear down some of the crap that I had programmed out, and he'll write stuff that's so much better. It's like, oh man, that's so cool, so cool. It's actually just exciting, and I think that when you're working with the right people, I think you can have it be exciting. It doesn't have to be like, oh, like my baby I'm having to hand it off this thing. It's like, man, it's just exciting because all these people share the same vision and they have the same idea of like where we want to go, what we want to do. Yeah.
But it's also like, you have to be really fragile and careful because as far as like the writing process, like the core of the Hinayana sound, I've always said it's Casey, but and we complement it, and in time we sort of blend and we learn more about it because it's good to it's always great to how can I put this?
It's going to collaborate with the people you have around you and really make something more than
that natural sound without straying too far and building on it to progress. And also feedback is always so important from fans and like what you've mentioned a lot.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. we really try, and that's what I like, is the consistency and how careful we are with how we choose to progress the Hinayana sound, because we don't want to go too far out there. And our fans are so awesome, because they've made a huge difference between Order Divine, the first full length, whatever, and then the transition to this. We try to take the the hell's the word I'm trying to. Oh, the beer's getting to me already. Hot damn! What was I gonna say? Anyways,
I think what you're trying to say. I think I know what you're trying to say. Yeah, it's really like there's a careful balance between going too crazy and going avant-garde, experimental with it, and continuing the sound of the band, but developing it in a direction that you want to. That's where you want to go. That's where you want to.
You're growing that sound, that baby. You got to nurture it and take care of it and make sure it's going the right direction.
And you're being respectful to your vision.
Yes.
And
absolutely.
Yeah, embracing and yeah.
It's like a flower blooming, but within a vase that encompasses your vision of the band.
Yeah,
exactly.
See how he put it?
Well,
that makes sense.
That's why I'm the dumber. This guy just needs to shut up and just keep playing back there. All right, guys.
You guys are very positive, and I like that. But a tougher question is, you guys finally get this big release via Napalm, and then COVID hits. What was your mindset? And was there a discussion, or has it? Well, I know it's coming out now on August 28th, but has it been pushed back to that date? Or was
so it's funny, this EP was actually written in 2019, or actually was written and recorded mostly in 2019. We sat on it because we wanted it to be released the right way, and we had been talking with Napalm, the label, and it took us a long time to get that deal. You hear about the music industry, and you hear about what sometimes you have to sit on material for a long time, and that was the most painful. That was the worst. That was the most painful time.
We finished it in summer of last year.
We did, just about. And it was kind of like, wow, we have to wait even longer to really do these exciting things. But I will also say, that being said, it's exciting just to be able to release this stuff because we've been sitting on it. You know what I'm saying? So there is that trade-off. It's like, okay, we can't tour, man, and that sucks. We can't play these shows, and that really sucks. Like we would normally be touring for a release like this, but hey, at least we get to release it and we get to see what people think of it. And we've had to keep this to ourselves for so long. We've been
listening to it over thousands and thousands of times in the past year.
Well, people like this.
People like this.
How have you guys been staying in contact with your fans? What have you been doing to keep them excited and invigorated?
Yeah, so we've just been trying to engage a lot more on social media and really trying to do more stuff that's fun, for the fans. We got a lot of stuff coming, I think we got some new merch that we're making right now, and throwing all our resources at that is probably the best thing for us to do. And we want to do the fans a service. We're probably gonna do a few giveaways and stuff, have some fun with it. And the guys at Napalm, they have some ideas for that stuff too, which is really great too. It's really great to have a label that is gonna back you and have ideas. You have a team of people. Now this is their project too. It's not only ours, we don't only have to do the thinking. Now it's some of them, they can contribute to this in a positive and productive way,
A great team too.
Yeah.
There's a couple labels we've talked to over the years, and there's always this uncertainty. And with everything so far with Napalm, it's so reassuring. It's so comforting.
And we knew we.
And also, it's been my dream label. Out of my top 3 labels, Napalm was the main label I wanted more than anything. My favorite bands are on the label, and it's just a dream come true. And it's just even more reassuring because that how hard they work and really down to earth they are. So.
But yeah, to answer your question,
because I go on tangents.
Fans, fans, and if anyone watching this, just hit us up on Facebook, man. We love hearing from our fans. It's our favorite thing. Sometimes that literally makes our day. Just someone reaching out to us saying, "Hey, I love your guys' music. I listened to this, yada yada yada, and this is really great. Keep up the good work or whatever." And we're just like, that made my day. That just made the whole day. I can go to work. I'm happy.
Yeah, we came 4 years ago. I joined the band in May of 2000.
16.
16, yeah, 2016, yeah. And I remember like how exciting it was. Just for the first few months, we had like 200 people that knew of us, maybe likes, Facebook likes, our friends that liked our page. Didn't even probably listen to it.
Yes.
And so it's so exciting, and that does not wear off. You know, it's like, and it's important to like, you know, to always appreciate that, because you know, it's gonna sound stupid, but there's a lot of people that you know, the more successful, or I'm not saying we're, how am I trying to say this? The further, you know, the better things, you know, people lose sight of all the excitement. And it's like every single day I wake up, the time I go to bed, it's hard to go to sleep still every night, because I'm so blessed and proud and happy, you know, so I don't take it for granted, not for a second, you know.
I love
Glad
the
that took me
enthusiasm.
3 hours to take that, put that out there. It's the beer, I promise.
If you guys could, if the world was still back in order, what would be the perfect dream tour for you guys to launch this record on?
Oh man.
Oh, you don't want to ask me. I'm going to say bands you don't want to.
Okay. Let's think. Some bands. I mean, you know, a band that I've been obsessed with for a long time. Amorphous.
Oh yeah.
Touring with Amorphous.
Love
the guys in Wolfheart, you know, they're nothing but friendly and like absolute icons in my view. You know, Tomas is, you know, just an amazing musician and someone who, again, inspired me to even start the band, you know, just the multi-instrumentalist. So let's see, that's for me. You know,
he's
my
such
opinion.
a freaking cool dude. Like,
one of these days, one of my biggest bands that I've loved for the past decade and a half, you know, Catatonia, touring with those guys, that'd be another amazing band.
Yeah. So you're saying all the bands that I'm like, okay, yeah, never mind. I don't know why I made that comment earlier. He's saying all the bands I would be saying.
That would be like a dream tour, you know. That would be a dream. Those are like, that's like up here for me. Yeah.
Those are all great bands. And Tuomas is an amazing human and a Vox&Hops alumni. So shout out 100%.
Oh, hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Great dude.
Take me to your worst day on tour.
Oh, man. Yeah, that was probably when, for me personally, that was probably when I broke a string in Corpus. And then I went and grabbed, we were playing a show in Corpus Christi here in Texas. And I broke a string on the very first song. And then the second, I go and grab the guitar, the backup. The backup's got a Floyd Rose on it. Floyd Rose, it's out of tune. I can't adjust it with the adjusters. There's no other backup.
I had to play really hard so nobody would hear Casey.
Oh, the shame. Yeah, and then after that, like my wireless unit, the strap was different than the other one, so it was much thinner. So like it fell off, so it was dangling down. I'm trying to play.
I remember that.
I'm having to avoid, you know, hitting that one string, you know, that's out of tune. I'm trying to, you know, think and do vocals, and that was very stressful. That was probably one of the worst moments on stage for me. That was just, I just felt like shit.
But the fans, like, they had a great time.
There was a few people who said that, I saw
everything's falling apart.
I saw your wireless unit fall, and you just kept going. The string break. It's like, I was like, man, I'm glad that, you know, at least musicians saw that and was like, hey, man, you know, at least you kept playing, because that was bad.
Can I add something to this?
Oh God.
So one of the scariest moments is we played a show with Wolfheart and Morse Principia Mass.
Yeah.
Correct, Ingram. And so I was like, the sound guy was like, okay, are you cool with playing on the the backline kit? And I was like, yeah, you know, awesome. I get to share the kit with all the big, you know, big cool dudes. So Jonas from Wolfheart, like, I'm like a huge fan of him. So I'm like, in my head, I'm thinking, oh man, I got to be careful on this. It's a rental kit, but I'm like, I got to be careful on this kit. So I'm playing, and all of a sudden, the rack tom, like, so the mounts were upside down. And I guess I hit the tom too hard, and the drum fell, and I caught it. So I had to finish the whole song like this, but I didn't want to take it out and put it in, like, I didn't want to scratch it. So I played the whole rest of the song holding the tom, and then he comes up and helps me out. I felt so, because I didn't want to scratch I thought it was his drum set, and then I'm like, oh, it's a rental kit. And he's like, yeah, it's fine. And I'm like, but I felt so stupid because I'm holding the rack tom and trying to play everything with the 3 limbs I have left. You know, anyways, that was a scary, but
I remember that. I almost forgot about that. I was like,
I'm gonna ruin everything.
You made it sound good, whatever.
It was fun though. It's fun stories.
If you could make a Hinayana craft beer what would it be called and what style would it be?
Ooh,
That's a good question.
ooh. Maybe something playing off the name of the band, you know, Lesser Path, something like that.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
Oh man, I feel like we'd come up with a pretty cool name, but it would take a while to really.
Lesser Path IPA. I don't know.
That works. Yeah. With some strange rare hops because it's a lesser path.
Something like that. That would be
Cool. Very
That'd
cool.
be cool. Hey, maybe it'll happen.
That's a
one of
good
these
question.
days. That is a very good question.
I actually want to think about that one for a good while.
I like it when bands make their own beer. I think it's cool.
Oh yeah, no.
I think that's very cool.
Deftones, Behemoth. Like,
I want to go. One of my things is I want to be able to try all the beers out there from these different bands that I like. You know, just if I can get a hold of them, you know, that'd be very cool.
When you go on tour, go to Three Floyds. They make a bunch of good ones too.
Oh hell yeah, hell yeah.
And one last question.
Sure.
What is your guys' hangover cure?
Oh man, I'll let you start.
oh, you go.
Mine is Bill Miller breakfast tacos, egg potato breakfast tacos. That always cures me. It's perfect. I'm obsessed. I have a little bit of an obsession with that place down here. About you?
Man, that was a short answer. Make it longer. I'm still thinking.
No, you got it. What do you do, man?
Oh man, so
Some watermelon?
I don't. Oh man, I'm actually for the most part lucky. I don't get hangovers too often, but when I do, oh, let me tell you, God, this is embarrassing.
Oh God,
I'm being honest, okay? I'm an idiot, so I don't know what I should drink. I don't always drink water before I drink beer, or like everyone says, "Oh, drink water so you don't have a hangover." So when it's too late and I have the hangover, I'll take a hot bath. I'll take a hot bath.
Oh man.
Hey, no, it's relaxing, and
I guess
I'll listen to I'll listen to ambient sounds on YouTube for 8 hours straight.
ASMR, like your ASMR videos.
Don't say that.
Wasn't supposed to say that.
Or I'll watch Tim and Eric.
He's been talking about his ASMR videos. He's been
No,
doing
it's so
lately.
peaceful. Like,
Yeah.
oh man. I turn into a woman, and it's my time.
The erotic ASMR sounds is what gets
No, it's not erotic. I don't watch the erotic ones. Oh man.
Doesn't watch those ones.
No, but anything peaceful, because I'm always on edge. So when I have a hangover, it's like
That makes
I gotta
sense.
relax, and it's definitely not gonna work when I have
Yeah.
a hangover. I just can't do it. I'm a pansy.
That is the first time someone has told me they take a hot bath.
Hey, I'm just being honest.
Oh yeah.
Oh, man.
and I have heard that ASMR is very relaxing.
That
That's been my past 3 nighs. Light a candle. Oh,
Yeah,
she's
so,
so
some people like the
Oh my God.
sounds and stuff. So.
I like the nails. They'll be like on the books. I'm like, oh, it's so magical. So I'm so new to this stuff.
Stuff is
I'm just
weird,
like,
man. I don't know.
I don't think it's weird. I think
Stuff
it's
is weird.
soothing.
Just imagine the people that are content creators that do
We
that.
just lost about half of our fans because of the freaking bubble bath comment I made.
Oh my God.
Death of Cosmic EP comes out August 28th via Napalm Records. You guys should go check it out. I'm going to check it out. Thank you, Casey, Daniel, taking some time to drink some beer with craft beer with me and a Lone Star. And
Hell yeah.
I appreciate it, boys. Cheers.
Absolutely.
Thank you, brother.
Cheers, man.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for having us on. Seriously, we really
Thank you.
appreciate it. It was fun.
Hey, thank you all so much for listening right to the end. You know that I love and appreciate that. I had such a great time hanging out with Casey and Daniel. Really cool, funny dudes. I swear that is my top hangover cure yet. Thank you for being so honest, Daniel. I absolutely love that. You guys should go check out Death of the Cosmic, the new Hinayana EP that just dropped last week via Napalm Records. It's a great EP. Go check it out. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I will be back at you next week with 2 more episodes. And don't forget, this episode was brought to you by Sound Talent Media. Until then, remember to enjoy life, metal, and craft beer. Cheers, Vox and Hops heads.